right, we are recording. Let's get this thing rolling here. We just got ready to start the broadcast.
I'll tell you when.
Huh?
I'll tell you when.
Okay. Little brisk. All right, so everything, I think everything that you need is right here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty much all your stuff. I'll bring my stuff after you're done with your part, and we can move that off, and then I'll bring my stuff on.
Right.
Deep breath. All right, ready? 3.
Let's do it.
I guess if I'm not ready, I'm not ever going to be.
Okay, 1. I'm turning it on.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, so we're rolling.
Are we live?
You are. Should
All right.
everybody can see you? I hope.
So everybody, text Vic if let her know that you can see her and where you're logging in from. Our normal deal.
Right.
So
and we'll answer questions at the end, right?
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
like normal. Last
Just like normal.
last 20 or 30 minutes, we'll answer questions.
Decatur, Illinois.
Decatur. Welcome, you guys. All right, so this is our 4th LTS. So hopefully,
LTS, that's live training session.
correct. So
Okay.
hopefully we'll have no glitches this time. We had a couple little glitches in the intro when we were doing some testing. By the way, in case you guys don't know, you can also dial an 800 number in to go to webinar if you're having technical difficulties. Babe, would you announce that phone number?
The
Is that
number.
not just for audio only, though?
No, if they're having any technical difficulties, they can call this 800
Oh,
number
I see.
Okay.
and they'll
all
walk
right.
them through it. Here it is.
Here's the number: 888-646-0014.
Okay.
That's not an 800 number. That's an 888
It's a
number.
toll-free number. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It's starting already. All right, so
I'm putting it on.
Once
here
you
for
get to be
everybody
80,
see.
you can pretty much do or say whatever you want to. And I'm way past that.
all right, so announcements. Again, this is our 4th live training session. Hope you guys get something out of it. We're kind of excited. This really is the brainchild of my wife over there in the corner, and. So we hope you guys like it. Dad, you got a couple things
Yeah,
that you want to say?
I want to mention that our makeawoodsign.com website where you order stuff, especially for premium members. When you go on and make an order, if you order it on davesigns.com, you don't get your 5% discount. And if you don't go to makeawoodsign.com and place your order there, then there's no way for us to calculate or to even know that you're entitled to that 5% discount. So that's just for premium members. Another thing, I should have one here, on the acrylic base that I designed and I make for the different routers. The one that shows on the website is for the DWP611 and the PC450, that Porter Cable 450. It'll fit both of those routers, but if somebody wants one to fit the Makita, the Bosch, or the Rigid, then they have to send me a message separate from the order. Now, on makeawoodsign.com, when you order there's a place for notes, which I didn't even know, but I don't check those. When I get an order, I check it on the website, which is PayPal, and I don't check a note. If you leave a note on makeawoodsign.com when you order, I don't even see that note unless I specifically go in there. So if you order a base and you want it for something other than the DWP611, then you have to send me a separate message to let me know. Otherwise, I'll send one out that won't fit your router. So that's
Okay.
that's important that you send me a separate message, not just in the notes, but a completely separate message that you want it for a different router.
And the email contact information is both on makeawoodsign.com under the contact, or even Dave Signs if you order it through the Dave Signs site.
I think
Either
there's a
one.
phone number there too if you
Yeah.
want to call, but just send me an
Okay.
email, let me know what router you want the base for, because now there's 4 choices. So
Okay, all right. So we want to get into this. Dad, you want to do your section? I'll get out of the way.
Are you
Yeah,
gonna
what
show
I'm
them
gonna
we're
do
making?
Huh?
is,
Are you gonna show them what we're making, or how?
Yeah, at the end.
at
Oh,
the end, yeah.
okay.
What we're gonna do, we're gonna show, I'm gonna do an initial part of this. I'm gonna cut out a blank, like we do with our
Hands up.
cutout patterns. And we've got a cutout pattern made, and I'm gonna use that cutout pattern, and I'm gonna show you how I actually cut out a sign blank. And this is something brand new that Eric and Vicki designed up, and we think it's kind of neat. So Eric is going to do the carving on the sign and do all the detail work, where I'm going to just cut out the blank so that you can see it.
Do you
But as part of that, as part of a live training, I want to show you exactly how I set the router up, because a lot of you have had questions about how do I set the router up with the template guide, how do I do all of that and still make sure I get everything done right. So I'm going to show you how I do that and how I've done it for years. And it's a, you know, for me it's fairly easy because I've done it, but when I get ready to start making this cut, I'm going to stand up. Because sitting down, I could still do it sitting down, but I'm going to stand up where I can get over the...
Okay, how about we start doing it and stop your yapping and,
Well,
and get to cutting here. People want
I
to
guess
see
we
this.
could do that. I just kind of laid back.
Well, you can yap while you're doing it.
Yeah, let me show you what I'm doing here. I got it. Just get back over there. All right, here's a pattern that I made at HDPE, and that's high density polyethylene. And this is like cutting board material. So what I'm going to do, I've got a couple of things here. I made these up just as little cleats, and I just want to put these on here so that when I start cutting, this is a sacrifice, by the way. This board underneath is just a sacrifice, and I'll actually be cutting into it slightly. And we'll try not to take too long here to get set up. And these are just to keep the board from sliding while I'm cutting, hopefully. And if the board starts sliding, I may stop and reposition those. Now, this is how I'm going to do this. I'll get this pattern ready. So that's ready for me to start cutting now. And these little cleats just kind of keep the board from sliding around when I'm cutting. Now, most of you know what a template guide is. Can you see this all right, son? Can you zoom in on this?
Yes, I can.
This is a template guide. Now, this is the same material that the pattern is made out of, and so this is how it will ride. And then this is the same thickness of material that I'm cutting, so you can see that it will cut through, and that's actually setting a little too deep. So my final cut will be just about here, where you can just barely see that it's cutting through.
Can you rotate that around just the pieces there? Yeah, there we go. I know Vic can see it, but I couldn't quite get around the corner
this
there.
is
There
just
we
barely
go.
cutting through the material. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, many of you have said that they had trouble cutting through that material. So what I'm going to do is normally I would make this in one cut, but I'm going to make this in two cuts. So I'm going to bring this back up, and I'll show you this again. Now, you see I'm cutting about halfway through that material.
That's a little bit more than halfway down.
Well, a little, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to show you how I make this in two cuts.
Okay.
I know
All
it's a
right.
little more than halfway.
Well, I didn't know if you could see it because it was on the other side.
All right,
Just
now
trying to help.
I'm all plugged in. Now I'm going to stand up, like I said. I'm going to stand up and do this.
It's gonna be loud.
It's going to be, well, it won't be too loud, but this is a pretty big router. Now this is, you don't use a little router for this. Now when I start, you'll see that I put the edge of the router down on the pattern, and then I'm going to drop into the board. You don't drop in straight because it'll grab on you. So, this is the way I do it. Put this down, and I drop in, bring it up to the, now you're going counterclockwise. I'm making a lot of sawdust. Same thing when I come out of the material. I keep the edge of the router down and I tip it up so that the cutter comes up out of the material. Now I've gone all the way around that and I'm about halfway down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reset that cutter depth, and I'll show you how I do that. Again, this is the pattern material and this is the material that I'm cutting. So we drop that down. A little bit more. There, now it's just, you can see that it's just barely past it now. When I go in and finish this off now, it'll cut all the way through and it'll actually cut into this board. Now you see what these little cleats, they hold pretty good if you're careful. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up now.
We just froze.
The picture just froze?
Our picture has froze, so we're going to exit the seminar and start come into it.
Okay.
So if you all can hear me, I am going to close the seminar and start over again. Can you hear me?
Unfortunately, everybody, this is GoToWebinar. A glitch
Ain't
from
technology great?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So bear with me. Give me just a couple of minutes.
So what do they need to do, babe?
All right. So what you need to do, you guys, is you need to go up to the box where it says File, Options, View, or Help. Click on File, and then Exit Seminar. And then you need to go back into your email, click on, and come back in. Okay?
Sorry, guys.
So what happened? Just the picture froze,
It
huh?
froze.
Yeah,
so everybody can hear me, right?
Hopefully.
All right. I'm going out.
So we're still filming on our camera here.
Yeah, we still got,
But
still filming, but I don't want to.
yeah,
I
let's
don't want to explain some of the stuff that I'm
No, just
that I'm
hold
doing
on.
here.
yeah. We'll
So-
we'll wait till
All
we're
I hear is.
What, we got another minute or so, babe?
Well, I've exited and trying to go back in now.
You taking that off?
Yeah.
Okay. Still got plenty of time. So for you guys that are watching the replay on this, you see Dad's using the pliers and taking that template guide out.
All right, I'm turning it back on, so
Are we back on now?
you're back on.
We will, yeah.
All right.
Oh, we got a real picture going. Okay. So is everybody back with us? Here, Dad. I'll take that.
Okay, are we back on live?
We're on, but we've got no sound.
No sound.
No,
We got a picture.
we got a picture.
I'm glad we don't have these problems on coffee and questions.
We don't because it's me.
What's that got to do with anything? Oh, we're back on sound.
Oh, we're back on sound?
All right. Can everybody hear us?
Are we back on track again?
Okay. Looks like we're good.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Couple of things. You saw me do this. Now, I want to pick this up, and I want to show you what this is. This is a Christmas tree. Now, you saw how I did it, and, you know, if you have
Dave,
questions,
hold it up again, please.
if you have questions, you can always call me, or call Eric. And it's not difficult to do it all. It's fairly easy, but most of you who have our cutout patterns know how to do this. But I wanted to do this on camera so that you could see live just how I do it. A lot of people just have so much trouble doing it, and I've done over the years, I've done thousands of them. So for me, it's fairly simple, but it does take a little practice,
my
and you have to be
gosh,
careful what you keep your router.
what happened?
Technical difficulty.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Go
Are
to
we
webinar.
paying for this?
Yeah, we are. Yes. But we won't be much longer. We're going to find another way to do this.
Yeah, I would think we would.
Unreal.
Oh my God. It says it failed.
Our newsletters just go so well.
Well, we don't have another faction involved other than YouTube. This is live
Yeah, because
streaming
it's
broadcast.
live, but it doesn't necessarily have to be live. It could be that we could.
No, there's another way to do it.
Oh, okay.
There are other services that don't even cost money.
Duh.
Well, I didn't know about them until I had already signed up for this.
Oh, okay.
This thing going. You tightened it pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, I just.
One more time.
One more time. Are we back live again?
Yeah. You guys, I'm sorry. This is the GoToWebinar.
Yeah, this GoToWebinar is should be GoToWebinar maybe. but what the heck? This is
We're trying, you guys.
this is
Hang with us.
technology. Nothing ever goes right, you know, the first time forever.
All right, guys. Hopefully we're back. GoToWebinar seems to be having issues.
Must be Muslim hackers over there.
Stop.
Do we have how many attendees? Does it show that everybody's back in?
Yeah, hopefully.
All right. Well then, let's.
Everybody back in. Well,
I think
let's get
so.
what we can before. It stops
Fortunately, you guys, that the replay will be on, and everything is on the replay. So.
again. Yeah, everything, including our off the camera remarks, is on the replay. So anyway,
Hopefully not my bad.
I don't know if you saw this the last time, but this is a Christmas tree that Eric and Vicki designed, and we'll show you how it's done and finished up. So the pattern and the Christmas tree. So that's that. Now, if you're not careful when you put this pattern, this template guide, if you're not careful when you put this in your router, I want to show you something. This little nut on the back is what you tighten it up with, and if you don't tighten it up tight enough, the vibration will cause it to come loose, and it will tip. And if it tips slightly, I don't know, can you see this?
I can, yeah.
If it tips slightly, all it has to do is tip slightly, and what will happen is you got a carbide cutter spinning in there, and if it tips, it'll come over and actually cut through that metal. That carbide will cut right through that steel, no problem at all. So when you put this in your router, be absolutely certain that you're inside of your router base and you're tightening this up, and get yourself a pair of water pump pliers and tighten it good. Make sure it's good and tight, not just finger tight, but it has to be good and tight. Otherwise, you get this problem, and you can mess up a pattern. You can certainly mess up a template guide like this one is messed up. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Something that you need to be aware of. And this is the board that I cut. So that's that. Now we're going to change this setup a little bit, and then Eric is going to come on and do his magic stuff, show you how he does the signs and show you the layout template. And then at the very end, you're going to see a nice surprise. You're going to see the finished product. So.
All right, you guys, if you can hear me and if you can see everything okay, please let me know.
Yes. I can see everything just fine.
Okay.
All right, I'm done here, and Eric is going to come in now.
All right, good.
I'm going to take this out. Eric's going to come in and change this setup. I'll get these cleats and this board out of here.
All right, looks like we're good.
Are we still online?
We're rolling again.
All right.
All right, we're at 8:20, so
We're at 8:20. What do you mean?
it means 8 o'clock in 20 minutes.
Oh, 8. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we're about 20 minutes in. I realized
I'm going
that.
to set this pattern over here.
Okay.
I'm going to take this off, get all this sawdust off of here. Now if you can see on this sacrifice board, I was in about, maybe 20 thousandths, 30 thousandths below the thing. And this is just a sacrifice board, but you can see how deep I was past the cut depth. All right, are you ready to come in here now, son?
Yes, I am.
All right,
All right.
get your Arizona butt in there.
All right, let's do it. All right. Okay, so there is the Christmas tree. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to take and do a little design on this Christmas tree. Shake up my ink here. I'm using green ink for a specific reason. So hopefully you guys can get in on that. I'm just going to center that. This is a layout pattern that we made, guys. Okay, and you can see it's got a series of holes there. And you'll realize what that is here in a minute. But I'm just going to center that right in there. And I'm going to use this green ink and just remember that the camera.
And you're using green for a particular purpose, right?
I am, yeah. We'll
You'll explain that as you go along.
Yep, we will. Remember, you got to, at 30 minutes, you got to shut that down.
I'm looking.
Okay. All right. So, you know what? I better make sure I get all those holes. I just did the outside. I better make sure I get those holes in there.
So you want to be sure to spray in those holes. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. All right. So that's the way it looks right now.
Now hold it there just a second now.
Before we start carving.
Okay.
Got it? Okay, so now...
Wow, you guys you're moving too fast. I'm getting blurry.
All right, sorry. Were you able to get that?
No?
Okay.
All right. Now I got it.
Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is where those holes are, I've got a specific drill bit size, and I'm going to drill 10 of those holes, and I'll explain why there's actually 20 holes there, but in this particular instance, I'm only going to drill 10 of them. And I'll tell you why. Make sure that's going through. It is. 3. And you can drill whichever holes you want. You'll understand why. So what do we got?
That's 9.
Put one at the top there for like a star.
Here?
Yeah.
But then there'll be none down here.
Well, then put one in the middle.
No, I like that one. Yeah.
That's 10.
Huh?
That's 10.
Thank you. Got it. All right. That ink. It's a little chilly this morning, so that ink, yeah, it's drying up now. All right, so we'll move this out of the way. And time to fire up the router. And I'll show you what I'm going to do here. By the way, guys, in case you were curious, the bit that Dad was using when he cut this out was our spiral upcut bit. In case you guys, I meant to say that while he was doing that. The bit
Well, I meant to mention it too, but there's, with the technical difficulties we was having, I
yeah,
just,
you can use that excuse if you want.
Yeah.
That works.
All right, kids, quit arguing.
All right, so here's my our little rubber mat. So the bit that I have in here right now, I don't know if you guys can get in on that. I'll try and hold it still.
Hold it to angle just a little bit. Yeah, that's
About
better.
like that. This is our 90-degree V-groove. The one that we use for our background or the cleanup. Wow, the bearings in this thing are getting so tight. This thing is going to squeal like a pig when I turn it on. All right, but that's all right, as long as it keeps running. So, yeah, I don't even think I need my magnifiers for this.
they're up there if you want.
Oh yeah, I knew they were there, but I don't think, my head's cold. I don't want to take my
Gonna
hat
be
off.
loud.
This won't be near as loud as that other one. Here we go. How we doing on time, man? Okay, so you guys can see what I did there. Now, you didn't switch that bit over, did you, Dad?
No, I didn't.
Okay, and I forgot my stiff bristle brush. Dadgummit. So we normally would brush this out.
Hold it up.
Oh, I'm sorry. So what you want to do here, you can see I didn't stay right on the line all the way. It's just a rough idea. Just stay somewhere close to that line. It gives you a line to go by. Now what I want to do is I would go back, and unfortunately I don't think I'm going to have time to do it, but I'm going to show you what the finished piece looks like. So what we wanted to do, and this was, again, Vicky's idea. I'm going to take all of those high spots out of there, and I'm going to spray this whole thing green. That's the reason I used green to begin with, is because I'm going to spray this green and the edges green once I put a bevel on there. However, unfortunately I'm not going to have time to do that, but in essence, and what the holes are for, let me show you. So because we're running short on time, guys, imagine this is green and this is wood, and you'll see what it looks like in just a second. Now what we're going to do is we are going to use those holes and we are going to put these lights in those holes. Now the holes, depending on how you do it, you can have, if the holes are a little bit big like they are in here, I wanted to make sure that they would fit in there all right. You could put a spot of hot glue in there, any number of different ways that you can. Uh-oh, that's not going to work.
Well,
how did I do that before?
Just get the idea.
I plotted it out really good before, and they all fit in there just fine. Now I'm confused. How did I do that?
It's like one of those puzzles at the Cracker Barrel.
It is, yeah. It's like a. Let me see here. That one fit there. Alright, so boom, boom, boom. And I'm still short. Dadgummit.
It's alright.
Anyway, alright, so the whole idea is that
If you want
all
any
those
questions, you better hurry.
all those lights will fit in there, and then once they're in there, you can see how that kind of lights up. Now what you use this for? What we did was we decided to use a series of our ribbon signs, and you guys know this is our small ribbon, this is our medium ribbon, this is 3 by 12, this is 4 by 16, and so now the finished product came out like that.
Da, 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 da.
Right.
Oops, I got to turn the light on.
Yeah, turn the lights on, son.
Did they go on?
Ta-da.
Oh yeah.
So this one, the lights are much smaller. They're what they call rice LED, and those other ones were not. But this just kind of gives you an idea, of guys, of what you can do. And so we've got our medium ribbon down there. So this might take the place of a holiday wreath on the front door, or just on the wall. But it makes kind of a cool little product. Again, you can see I sprayed the whole thing green on the edges and everything, and I put a little bevel on there. And these actually fit in there a little bit better. I'm not sure whether I like the 10 lights or the 20 lights, but there's all different kinds of lights. But this will give you guys an idea how you can mix and match, and you guys are probably a lot more creative than we are. But it kind of gives a special deal, and I think these could definitely sell.
You don't get much better than that.
Yeah, I think they could definitely sell. So everybody, can you see it all right on the camera there? All right. So that's it. This is and you know what? Any of you that are scroll saws or a jigsaw, you can cut these out pretty easily. If you don't want to do that, we have the layout template and the cutout template. We'll have that on the website within a couple days, probably by the first of the week. This is the cutout template, and then the layout template is this one. So I think we're going to go. I think this is going to be like 15, and the cutout template is 20. If you guys need need us to supply them for you. But
All right.
anyway.
8:35. So.
All right, so let's let me clean up this here. Have we got questions coming in?
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
so let's get this out of the way. Whew, that
All right.
made a lot of
Question
sense.
and answer time, guys. Send your
Q&A.
questions to us.
Q&A. Have you started the second 30-minute thing on that, Dad?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, good.
about 8 minutes ago.
All right, good. So, grab a chair. Oh, actually, if you want to get in there, Dad, you want to scoot in there, then I'll get in behind you. Oh, back down. All right, Q&A, guys. What do you got?
Quit thumping around.
Might want to check the focus on that camera.
Yeah, I will. Oh, yeah. It was way off. Okay, questions?
They like the tree.
Well, good.
Okay.
It was
let's
fun.
see. What size holes?
You know, it depends on the lights. The little rice lights, it was like a 16th.
Yeah,
The bigger
but
ones-
you can buy a set of those lights with 10 or 20 lights that actually have like a 1/4 inch round. So it depends on the lights that you buy. Get a set of lights and then drill the holes to match.
Yeah, I got those.
Mine has 20.
Yeah, there's 20 on that one. But those were the little tiny rice
The LED.
rice LEDs.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Real
the other
bright
ones are LEDs too. This 10, these are LEDs too, but they're not called the rice. These are much bigger. They're a much
Yeah.
bigger bulb.
They're
on it.
bigger bulbs.
And
so-
there's another one that is actually a big, huge round bulb. So, okay.
Yeah.
So that's that. Just
Yeah, so you'll have to get a drill bit and drill a hole that is appropriate for whatever lights you
whatever
get.
lights you get.
Okay.
And you can buy those. You can find them on Amazon. They've got a half a dozen
They have
different.
them at Joann's.
And they have them at Joann's, yeah.
And
and
Joann,
Walmart probably, but
But if you don't want to go down to the mall, Amazon is there for you.
not a mall person. Do you have holiday templates? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, etc.
Well, no, we don't
We don't
have
as of yet.
As of yet, but I've gone into the Vector Stock website and looked at several of them, but they're difficult to get a vector pattern and get it over to the laser, and then get what I want out of it and make sure it'll cut. So the answer is no, but we're planning on getting some.
But if you have some ideas, email us or give us a call and we can put something together.
All right. Let's see. Got some comments. Need some
Okay.
more questions, you guys. Does anybody have
More
any
questions, guys?
Let's see. Comments. Love it. Way to go, Vic, on your idea. Yes. Love the tree. Great job, Vicki. Yay, me. And you
Okay.
said if they loved it, it was me.
No, I
They
said it was
hated
me. If they
you.
hated it, it was you.
Where do you get the chains and eye hooks?
The chains.
Lowe's is a good place to get them.
Yeah.
Lowe's has got 50 different styles and sizes of chains, and they've got the S hooks and the I hooks. So I like Lowe's. I do a lot of shopping there. I don't
That's
shop.
if you're buying small quantities. If you buy big quantities like we do, on the S hooks and the screw eyes, I get those at androckhardware.com.
Send us an email and we'll give you a source for if you're going to buy large quantities. But
Right.
small quantities, Lowe's is about as good as you can get. They may have them at Walmart. I don't shop at Home Depot, so probably Lowe's would be the best.
All right, moving on.
Oh.
I told you I'm 80. I can say whatever. I'm into
Oh
my
my
80s. I can say
goodness.
whatever I want.
Sorry, you got me on that one. Eric, the video was jumpy. Did you adjust the depth of the 90-degree bit for the background or keep it the same as the cut around edge? You didn't.
I kept it the same all the way. Now, there's any number of different ways you can do that. When I did the finished product, when I did that one, I actually used the 60-degree to go around the outside edge, and because I could get a little bit closer into those points. And then I used the 90-degree to do all of the cleanup.
But for all intents and purposes, nobody would ever know that except just whoever was doing the carving. So
Yeah,
the
just
visually, it wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah. So
Right,
I
yeah.
kept it the same depth. It was right around a little less than 1/4 of an inch for the depth around the outside and inside.
All right, if I wanted to make my own tree, do I use a scroll saw for that?
Absolutely,
Probably, yeah.
absolutely.
That's
Some of
Mary
you
Beth.
guys with the scroll saw,
Oh, Mary Beth?
you're real
She's
artists.
Yeah. Which sander do you use to clear the border for the Christmas tree? It looked pretty narrow. Which
Which
sander?
sander? I would use, once it's sprayed and then to sand it off, I would use my little 3x18, the one that I normally use, and I probably would just stay with the fine, well, my finish grit, because there's hardly any ink on there at all.
And you've
So
seen
I-
him use that sander, and you got to have a real light touch when you've got a narrow thing. Have
Yeah.
a real light touch. You can't really bear down on it. You kind of just sort of have to
Yeah,
run it as a whisper across there, just enough to get the ink off of
Yeah,
that little.
so I would probably use an 80 grit to take that off, and then a finish sand if
and
you
then a
want
real
something
light
beyond
touch. That's the main
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Bill Hodgkins.
Hey, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
It's more of a, it says, this may be too involved for a Q&A, but I would like to see a session about mistakes. Nobody's perfect. What can be done if you run your router into an inset letter, and a million other bonehead mistakes? I've heard you speak of using wood putty, so that's a good coffee and questions thing.
Well,
Yeah,
when
I
I
think-
make a mistake, I use a fireplace. Sometimes you make a mistake, you learn from it, but if you just, start over.
It really kind of depends, for me, it kind of depends on what it is. I'll use wood putty, but that's more to like fill in cracks for knots and that kind of stuff. There are ways that you can repair mistakes if you wipe out the bottom of an outset letter. I normally, on the small signs, I wouldn't even take the time. I just start over. But if you're making a big sign, and it's you're a lot of the way into it and got a lot of material cost and all that, there are ways to do that, and we'll do a newsletter on
That's
that.
a good question, because I made years ago. I made a church sign, and the the services were at a certain time, and about a year and a half, and it was a big sign. It was like several $100 sign, and a year and a half later, they wanted to change the hours. So I took the sign back, and what I did is I cut a cavity out of wherever that was. I cut a cavity out of there, and I cut it in such a way that I could glue a whole new board into that cavity. Then I laid it out, and I cut the whole thing, and I made it so that when it was done, you couldn't tell that it was changed at all. You couldn't see anything at all where it was done. But sometimes you can do that if you have to change it, or if you somehow nick a letter. You can cut a little cavity, glue with Gorilla Glue, glue a whole new board in there, and then just that particular part of it, just recarve it. So
Yeah.
you can do it on a big sign that's expensive, but on a little one, use a fireplace and
Yeah.
start over.
I've done it before where I did that the same. I glued a block in because I was doing an apostrophe, and the apostrophe was a chippy board, and I was going the wrong direction. It completely chipped out, so then the apostrophe was gone. So I just wanted to play around with it and see if I could do this. This was probably 30 years ago, and I glued a little block in there, and then I carved the apostrophe. And the only way you could tell, unfortunately, and nobody really could tell, but I had the grain running up and down. And the rest of the sign, the grain was running this way, and the grain on the apostrophe was running up and down,
unique.
which was different. Yeah,
I taught you different than that.
yeah.
Okay,
Yes, you did.
here's a question you kind of already answered, but let's clarify it. I just lost it. Hold on. Sorry, they're answering questions are coming quicker than I can. This is from Bill Smith. Where can you get the lights? And I'm thinking of cordless arrangements, or were yours only plug-ins?
Oh no, this is battery. This is 3 AA batteries. Now on the finished one, I'll show you how I put that on. So you could, if it was close to an outlet, you could do it with a plug-in one. So this is what it looks like in the back. I basically just kind of wire tied these in here to make sure they're inside of the tree, that you couldn't see them from the front. And then I just put a zip tie around those and held it in, and it worked out pretty well.
But if you're gonna hang, if you're gonna hang that on the door or the wall, or especially on the door, you don't want it to have to plug in.
Yeah.
So you just about have to
And
have
the
a
lights.
battery operated cordless.
Okay.
And I got those lights actually at Joanne, but we've got some online too.
Mary Beth asked, I missed the first part, darn it. Will it be available on DVD or YouTube
Mary
later?"
Beth, how are
Yes.
you doing?
Hi, Mary Beth. Yes, before the end of the weekend, within the next day or so, by Monday, I'll have it posted on the channel.
All right, let's see. Frank Jenkins says, I used wood glue and sawdust from the board I'm cutting to make a filler.
Yeah.
If I'm painting over the mistake.
Yeah.
So.
And I've done that as well.
I have too. I've used, you can just take some of the chips and mix it with glue and fill it up.
Yeah.
And once it dries and hardens, it's just like a piece of wood.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff Leffler. Haven't got my DVDs yet, but does it have a list of all the equipment, tools, and supplies that you need to get started?
Yeah, if it's a set, if you bought the set, there's a source list inside as you open up that the clamshell with the DVDs in it. On the left side, there's a source list, and that source list gives you all of the places that we buy supplies. Not all of the places, but most of the places that we buy our supplies from.
And you can always get in contact with us, Jeff. If there's anything that you're looking for that's not there, just let us know.
All right. Dave Kearns.
Hey, Dave. Great name.
You've changed your finish spray a few times over the last few years. What is your current favorite, and did you use it on the Christmas tree?
Good question.
Yeah.
Very good, Dave. You're paying attention. Yes, I have changed, but actually for the last few years, I've just used that Krylon Crystal Clear mostly. And that's what's on that. That's what's on there is 2 or 3 coats of the Krylon Crystal Clear. It's an acrylic spray. It's rated for indoor or outdoor. Now, if it's going in an extreme weather situation, I've said this before, I'll probably use the Helmsman Spar Urethane. And that the reason I'll use that is because it is superior. I feel it's a better finish, but it's about 3 times the price. So normally if it's just going outside and I know it's not going in extreme weather, I'll use the Krylon Crystal Clear acrylic spray. If it's going in a real rough situation, a lot of snow or extreme temperatures.
Sign on a boat, something like that's going to be exposed to the environment. That Helmsman Spar Urethane is good stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Again, let's see. Richard Fisher, how do you hold the lights in?
Okay, well, on this one here, on the finished one, on this one here, I drilled the holes and I left them because I wanted it to be able to go all the way through. So I would probably, if I was making this as a finished product, I'd probably just put a dab of hot glue on the back side, or you could tape them into place. On this one up here, the lights fit a little bit more snug, and it's just actually a slip fit. I know I'm moving really fast.
Yes, you are.
So it just pushes in. On this, the holes were a little bit better size for the light, and it's kind of a tight fit. So they worked out perfect.
Just a slip fit.
Yeah.
You can experiment with drills. You can get drills with like 3,000 or 4,000 in difference in size, and get the right one so it's just a slip fit in there. So if the light set ever goes bad, you can just take it off and replace it.
Yeah.
So it's just make it a really nice snug slip fit.
I wanted to do these holes a little bit bigger for these so that it was for time's sake. But if you did have your hole a little bit too big, again, I think a dab of hot glue on the back side I think would work just fine.
But if you do with the hot glue, and you ever have to replace it, you have a little trouble. Where if you just make it a nice snug slip fit in there, if you ever have to replace it, you take it out and put a new one in.
Okay.
And a set of lights cost, somewhere around $5.
Yeah, they're cheap. At what point do you put the chamfer edge on? Before or after spraying the ink?
It would be before. I would have. What's so damn funny?
I don't know.
I would have actually. It's better to do the chamfer on here before I even cut this out. I would have done it at the very beginning before I sprayed it, before I cut this out. The reason being is that the router base could kind of dip into this cavity, and you're better off putting a chamfer on it when you've got the whole surface of it. But for time's sake, I was going to do it afterwards, but Dad was supposed to change the bit and he didn't do it. He's lollygagging over there.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
All right, so I would do it before, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, before you put a finish on, get your carving all done before you put a finish on. Doesn't make much sense.
No, that's not what he was asking. You didn't hear. He said before you spray it with ink, before you spray the green. He wasn't talking about the finish. He was talking about the green. Let's move on.
All right, kids.
He's confused.
I get confused easily.
All right. Have you tried the Rust-Oleum color?
I have not tried the Rust-Oleum. I've heard a couple people had issues with it, but I'm just not. I haven't
That's a
tried
paint
it.
opposed to the ink.
Correct. Yeah. No, I have not tried it. I have heard that the regular color bleeds into the board. So, but I've also heard that the primer, the black primer that we use, that comes in different colors as well. So I would suggest if you were going to try it, obviously always experiment on non-customer boards to begin with. But if you're going to try it, I would try the primer. But no, I have not.
All right. Sorry, I'm trying to catch these. They're jumping.
Okay.
Let's see. That's about it. Has anybody got any other questions? I think
Any more questions? How we doing on time? We're still
good.
okay on time.
Yeah, we got several minutes
So,
left yet.
what did we?
Oh, here's one. Well, sorry, I found them at the bottom. Okay.
Oh, more questions at the
Thank
bottom.
you. Yeah, the guys are great. Thanks for the great idea and for not copywriting it. You're welcome, Frank. I should. What would you charge for one of these to the customer?
I thought about that. If I was doing it as a complete set like that, probably $50. I would say probably in the $50 neighborhood.
That would be the figure I'd have in mind. It depends on if you buy a $10 set of lights, you got to charge more. Our set of lights we bought, I think, for one for $5,
Yeah.
one for $6, and you can't just trade dollars. Plus, you'll have probably an hour in there
Yeah.
in work. So
The
somewhere between $50 and $75 would be a fair price to charge for it.
Yeah, that bottom sign's worth 20, and the top sign is worth probably 10 or 15. And then for the tree would be the difference between the two.
And putting the
15
lights and doing
20,
the assembly
Yeah.
and the change and the
I
hooks.
wouldn't make it for any less than $50 for that set. I wouldn't go any less than that.
All right. How wide and tall is that tree?
Oh, that's about 10 and a half,
You
10
got one
and a
right in
half
front of
wide.
you.
Yeah,
Huh?
right here.
Oh, it's about 10 and a half wide. Oops, excuse me, 12 wide by 10 and a half tall. That's what it is. So it's about 12 wide by 10 and a half tall.
And one thing to bear in mind, that when you're cutting this tree, be sure you're not cutting it the other way. Because if the grain was running this way, and this could break off very easily, but the grain is running this way, that means that's tough. It'd be much harder to break that off. But if it was the other way, that could break off real easy. So be sure your grain is running horizontal when you're cutting that. I meant to mention that.
If they're using 1x12 material, they probably wouldn't be able to go this way anyway. But that's a good point. If they were using a board that was wide,
they went to Lowe's and got a big plank to cut it out of it. But
some of the
all I'm saying is when you cut something like that out, be sure that you keep the grain
if
horizontal.
the grain was running this way, that piece could snap off of there
Real
We've
easy.
got 5 minutes and I got more questions.
All right, bring it.
Mary Beth made a statement. I found the ink is the only way to go. I just bought some Marsh ink and it sounded well. I was finally able to sand without taking off the letters and artwork. Yay.
Good.
Good for you, Mary
Bill
Beth.
Smith.
Just remember, when you're using that ink, when you're starting out, you have a tendency to go real heavy with it, and just go real light with it. If you have to make 2 light coats, that's better than 1 heavy coat, because if it puddles up, if it gets real thick, and you try to sand it off, that's when it'll come up your sanding belt. So
Okay.
real light on that ink.
Okay, Bill again, Bill Smith. Remember, I'm Canadian. Do you have a local supplier as I'm coming down in a couple of days? Excited. Maybe I could pick some lights up when I'm down there. So Joanne's
Down here, and
yeah.
maybe even Walmart. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff in there, so Walmart might have them, but Joanne's definitely does.
Yeah, okay.
Why would you go to a store when you can just get on your computer, go to Amazon, and they'll send it right to your door?
Well, maybe they're here and they want to make some for somebody here while they're here.
Well, that could very well
Okay.
be. But you can get it in 2 or 3 days from Amazon too.
Question from Charles Smith. $50 for all 3 signs and the lights. Yes.
Set, yes,
set,
as a
okay.
set, yes.
I'm trying to whittle it down here, guys. Donald Gerhauser.
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 Yeah, Gerhauser.
You said you use a sander belt size 3x18.
Mhm.
Which make do you suggest?
I use the skill. I use the little 3x18 skill. I can't remember the model right offhand, but you've seen it in any of my sanding videos. And again, guys, you can go on the channel and click on that little playlist right under the picture there, and then there'll be playlists of all different things, and one of them is, we'll say, sanding, and you can see the model on there, but it's a skill 3x18.
Good little sander.
All right. Jonathan
sander.
Earp, suggest an idea. I'm doing an outside commercial sign and using solar lights.
Okay,
So
great.
that's
Yeah, we use solar lights a lot. We've got on our property. We've got solar lights all over.
I don't know, do they make these things in solar lights? I
I
didn't
I
see
have
them.
seen.
Probably
I don't
not.
know about that small, but I
Yeah.
have seen solar lights at Lowe's.
Oh yeah, we've got.
Different kinds of at Lowe's. And
Yeah,
stuff.
but I'm not sure about the little pin lights.
That's what
or
I
the-
mean. I don't know.
Yeah,
that they're
I don't
that
know
small,
on that,
so.
but that's something definitely worth checking into.
All right, boys, wrap it up.
Okay. All right.
We got 2 minutes.
We are closing down. So, again, like I say, I will have this, because we're filming with the other camera too. I'll have it posted by the end of the weekend. Again, remember, for you premium members, if you want that, I send you an email every month with that little 5% discount thing in there, and you don't have the option to put that in on the other website. So if you want that 5% discount, you got to order through makeawoodsign.com, and then when you check out, there's a place for that coupon code. And
That's how you get your 5%
Yeah.
discount.
yeah, because if you don't, then we just don't, we don't know. So,
Again, we apologize for webinars.
yeah,
Internet
you
problems.
have their 800 number now if you want to call and comment on the issues.
888-646-0014. Real
So-
quick question. How is the premium membership?
How is it?
How is it?
That's pretty
Well,
good.
Yeah,
Well,
I
You
like
get
it.
with a premium membership, you not get only 5% discount on just about.
How much is it?
Oh, it's
How much it-
$9.95 a month. And that is, so if you go on makeawoodsign.com, click on the little premium membership thing and all the details. But basically is free router bit sharpening for our bits, either, the our 4 router bits. You can unlimited free sharpening and then 5% discount on all of our products.
When you send those router bits in to be sharpened, be sure to send a $5 bill with it. That covers the postage, return postage. Doesn't quite cover it, but it's
Yeah.
close enough. But don't send any checks or money order. Just send a $5 bill with your router bits, and that's that.
And just as a note, you Canadians or you international people, we're almost to the point where we can offer the premium membership to you guys. We're still kind of working out the details, but we're almost
All
there.
right, I'm going to ask one more real quick question. Until seminar's up, can I send more than 1 router bit at a time?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You can send a dozen. Yeah, as long as there are router bits. The 60, the 90, the 45, or the profile bit. Those 4 bits. As long as it's those 4 bits, you can send them all.
All right.
And we don't sharpen other people's bits.
We're going to do one more. Mary Beth, I know what the answer is going to be to this. Mary Beth, I apologize in advance for the
Uh-oh.
for the answer to
Uh-oh.
this. Do you offer personal training at your shop?
Yes, absolutely. You can. We've had this many times. If you happen to be in the area, come by. We can't spend hours and hours, but if you come by, you can come by and we'll spend some time with you and talk shop. We've done that
Okay,
many times.
That's not what I thought was going to be the answer, but
See?
okay.
See?
All right, guys. 9:01. We're over time. Say bye-bye.
All right, you guys. We will see you on Monday morning. Coffee and questions. Thanks for tuning in and
See you next month.
and sharing our videos and stuff. And we'll have something for you again next month. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
All right, I better turn that one off. So we did.
Are we disconnected?